Yes, Amna, you want to show it? You want to show the game?
Teacher, I want to show my screen.
Yes, you can. Okay, let's let Ayad do that first. Ayad, you can do that now.
Do you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Great.
So that's perfect that your character is moving with the direction. Can you show me the code of glass water first?
Yeah. This is my code. This was my code I made.
This is your code, so I can't see it anymore. Have you changed it?
Yeah, I off it.
Turn it off. Why would you turn it off? Please show that again.
Okay, sure.
So show me the code for that glass water.
Okay.
So how do you have managed to get it moving in one direction to another direction?
Well. Well,
I
it's
have
very hard to catch it because all the left arrow and right arrow have also been reversed.
has it been reversed? So can you give me the remote control? I have requested you to give me the remote control. I will look in the code and I'll try to fix it for you.
Okay.
So when you go to this glass waters code, you would be able to see what is the problem here. So when you press the left arrow, actually you have to move towards the left side. So here you're going to change the X by a negative value. And when you want to move towards the right side, you need to change your value by a positive value. So moving towards the right, X changes by a positive value, and moving towards the left, X changes by a negative value. So that is what was problematic in your game, I guess. Now when you press the right arrow, it goes towards the right, and when you press the left arrow, it goes towards the left. But so it only falls once. Why doesn't it keep coming back every time you have to?
Because I add the stop all button.
So once you miss this, you stop everything. So you got only one chance for the player to play the game. Yes, there is one thing that we are doing wrong, and that something that we are doing wrong is that our drops lost here. You have chosen that code. I can't see it actually. Drops lost is less than is equal to 10. If drops lost is equal to 10, then uh, we need to say sorry, or we have lost the game. Change the drop lost by 0 if we will change the drops lost by -1 here, I guess. Actually, we're going to change that by 1. Change drop loss by 1. And also when you start this game, you need to initiate both the variables as 0. So you're going to go to this variables and not change here. You are supposed to use this set code here. Not change, actually set. Setting the variable value means that you are making the variable when it starts, when the program starts, when the game starts, its value would be 0 when you start it. That is setting. Changing is that if there is an event like you catch it or maybe you lost or drop it, So once you catch the drop, you get one more point. So that means you have to change the previous value of drops set or drops got to uh, change it by one or add one more. So in the initialization, you have to use this one set instead of using the change. So you have to set both of them to zero. Drops caught is also supposed to be set to zero, and drops lost is also supposed to be set to zero. So that is what we need. Okay. So you can change it on your own after that. So now we are going to work on another game today that is called the catching game. The catching game works, sorry, the jumping game. The jumping game works something like that. Uh, you must have played that game on Google Chrome when you do not have the internet and you start pressing the space icon and your dinosaur starts to run. So this game is basically something like that. What we have to do is we have to create a jumping game, and for that I will open Scratch and I will first show you how the jumping game works. So for that, there is this video also with me that I have found out on YouTube. Let's press Ctrl T. So this video, I'm going to show you how this jumping game is going to be played. I hope that you will be able to see my screen at the moment.
Your character jump. To me, I will pick out.
So let's show you how this game is basically supposed to work, and then we'll try to decode how to do it.
You can use a variable to keep track. Nice.
So
And
this
when the
is
player
kind of the game
loses
that
and
we
the project
want to make.
restarts, we can set their score back to 0.
So
There
this
we
is
go.
kind of a game
That's a
that we
jumping
want to
game.
make.
I hope this
our
tutorial helped you
character
out.
has to
There are
jump
lots of
and
other things you could try.
clear
You
the
could have multiple
obstacles.
kinds of obstacles.
So this is kind of the game that we want to create. Sorry for the overlapping voice. Our character needs to jump and cross some obstacles, and every time it crosses the obstacle or completes one jump, we are going to get scored for that. And every time we hit some obstacle, we are going to lose the game and we will have to start again. And we can see how much score can we get. So the game is actually very simple. You do not have to code a lot. It has a very small chunk of code that we need to make. So I will start making that game here in front of you. I hope that you can see my screen at the moment. So there is this again Scratch cat and everything here. Now what we want to do is just start coding, and in order to start coding, what we need to do is select the background and the characters. So we'll go to this backdrops option and select a backdrop. Any backdrop that we want, we can select a similar backdrop. Let's say that we can have this blue sky, and in this blue sky, excuse me. So in this blue sky, I'm going to have the Scratch that I want to play my game with. So that Scratch I'm going to select from here. That sprite I'm going to select from here. And I can select any sprite that I want. So that in that game, this character chick was being used. We can use this dinosaur also. Okay. So we'll remove this character because we don't need it, and we will start with this character. This character is kind of very big at the moment. We can try to make it a little smaller. Actually very small, a little bigger. Yes. So this is kind of a good size of the character that we can choose to play this game. Similarly, this backdrop may not suit us, so we can choose a different sort of a backdrop like this forest one. So the dinosaur color is actually not very bright as compared to the backdrop, so we can change the dinosaur colors here as well. What color of dinosaur do you want? I would want to have a purple dinosaur. See, it's my dinosaur. I can make it any color that I want. And similarly, when you will create your own character, you can just change its color to any color that you want. So my dinosaur is a little funky. It has very catchy, very bright colors. So this is my dinosaur. Oh, actually, I have turned its teeth into
The teeth look very ew.
hue. Yes, so we can change them back to white also and see how they look like. Okay. So here we are going to add it, change it to black. These
Teacher,
are now.
the eyes are gone. Where are the eyes?
So eyes are gone as well. So we have to look for the eyes also. If we want to add our own eyes to this character, we can, but this was supposed to be its eye. So I'm going to change it to white color as well. So now it has
Too
an eye.
small.
So let's make it a little bigger. Fine.
Yeah.
There might be its nostrils also. So maybe we can change it to black color. Let's also make it a little bigger. So now we have made a dinosaur and we can start playing a game with it. Again, this looks a little smaller to me, so I'm going to make it a little bigger and tell it where to start the game. So whenever we now start the game, our dinosaur should actually come here, come back here. So for that, you know what do we need to do? We need to use this events block and pick up this block which says when flag clicked and tell our character to come back at this position. So our character is going to come back at this position, and this position is, sorry, uh, this position. I would want my character to come back. I mistakenly pressed the wrong button, so you have to be very careful for that. So this is the place our character would come back whenever I will start the game, right? So let's say that I put it somewhere else. When I press the flag, it comes back. Wherever it goes, wherever it is, it needs to come back. Okay. Now we need to give it another piece of code, and that piece of code is how do we make this character to jump. So what is actually jumping? Jumping is basically moving up and down. So we have to write a code that this character moves up and moves down. So for that, we are going to go to this event and try to define a button with which our character is going to jump and define how it is going to jump. So for the jumping, we are going to use this code, motions, and change y by. So when you change y by, this character goes up, and when you
Do minus, it goes down.
yes, exactly. When you go to minus, it goes down. And when you press the flag button, it comes to the starting position. Now we need to tell how big or how small our jump needs to be. And for that, we are going to use this control loop. If
Depending how big the object is,
yes,
it has to jump.
it has to jump. So we will say that we have to repeat it by 7 times. So now when I press the space button, this is how up it goes. And similarly, we can duplicate it and add it here and change it by a minus value so that whenever a space key is pressed, it comes back. So is that jump enough? If that jump is not enough, we can add more repeat steps here. You can see that if I
The
add
second
12 here,
problem is it needs to go to the front.
it needs to go to the
It needs to move forward.
yeah, that is it. So basically what is going to happen is this object is not going to move anywhere. It's just need to keep jumping on its own place, and we will make the objects come towards its side, this side, so that it looks like the object is jumping, but it is actually not jumping. It is not moving forward. So if we do it to 12 steps, now you can see that the jump is going to be a little bigger. But this is a little bigger jump. So I will keep it to 10 so that it is not that small or not that big. It's like in somewhere in the middle. So when you press the space button, it jumps. Now we need to have an obstacle that crosses this dinosaur. And for that, we are going to add another character here. This character can be anything that our uh, dinosaur has to avoid. So let's say that this character is, so which character? Yes, maybe this is a hedgehog. So we are going to make sure that our character does not touch the hedgehog. So first, let's make it move towards its direction. Maybe we change the direction a little too much. Go to costumes. I will not change its direction here. Instead, I will go to the costumes and flip this in this direction. So now my character is moving in the other direction. What I need to now do is make it a little smaller. Let's say 30. So all I have to do is just now make sure that this character moves in this direction of the dinosaur, and our dinosaur jumps when it reaches that when it comes close to the hedgehog. So now what we are going to do is make this object to move. So in order to get it move towards the other side, we are going to tell it from where to start. So we're going to go to the motion and select its starting position here and add it here. So we are going to add when flag is pressed. So when flag is clicked, our object is going to come here. So after coming here, what it needs to do is start moving on the other direction. So for that, we are going to use this again, go to tool, but instead of go to, we are going to use this glide tool. And with gliding, we need to tell it to reach this point. This point would be minus 217. If this point is 217, this point needs to be minus 240. Let's say I add minus 240 here. And now see what happens. So now my
that's
character,
too fast.
that's too fast. So we can change the time here. We're to 3 seconds so that it moves a little slower. Now it would move a little slower. And we need to make sure that this keeps on happening forever. So we are going to put this forever loop around. Now what happens is this comes once it goes down. Now we need
But
to
it's
tell it.
not
Yes,
gliding back to the
it's not.
start.
It's not starting again. See, it's not starting again. So that is what is happening. That it's not starting again. So let's say that we put this code in here and change the time here so that it comes quickly. Yes, now it is happening. Fine.
I'm a
It
little
comes
too
and comes
fast.
back. Okay, it's moving too fast. Obviously, I change its speed. I can change its speed back to 3 so that it's not moving that fast. Now, what we need to do is jump when the hedgehog is near. So hedgehog is actually very small. I'll make it a little bigger. And now we need to jump when the hedgehog is here. When we press the space key, our character is going to jump.
But we are not scoring any points.
We are not
That's our
scoring any
third
points
question.
because we haven't coded anything for the score. Once we will add some code for the score, we will start scoring as well. So first go to the dinosaur again and increase its jump a little more so that the jump is clean and it does not touch the object. So there is a possibility that we get the clean jump. So in order to get the clean jump, we just need to make sure that its tail is a little smaller. So I will go to the costumes and make its tail to be a little smaller. Similarly, I would want it to be squeezed a little on this side. Also, its face to be squeezed a little on this side, and its head to be put here somewhere. So that is how you can change your character also if you want. So now it would be easier for us to have a clean jump. Uh, yes. So now we are having a cleaner jump. So now what we need to do is write some code that how do we get more score in that. So for that, what we need to do is we need to write the code for the score, and for the score we need to go to the variables and we make a variable which says score, or maybe jumps, or maybe clean jumps. So how many clean jumps do we do? So every time we complete this jump, we are going to change the score by 1. Let's see what happens now. So every time I complete a jump, I am going to get a score.
And also we need to set the top, this queen jumps to 0 at the start.
Yes, so when we start, we need to change, not change actually, set clean jumps to 0. So when you press the flag button, it's set to 0. Now there is one thing that we need to identify, that is what happens when we do not get a clean jump. We touch the hedgehog.
That means it loses a point.
We do not lose a point, we actually stop the game, let's say. So for that, what we are going to do is go to the looks option. Not the looks option actually, I have forgot. So go to the, let's say, control option, and we have to tell that now if our character touches that object, we need to lose the game. So we'll go to this if statement. Add it here. If go to the sensing portion and use this. If touching hedgehog, what should happen? Obviously, we would want it to stop on. So in the controls, I'm going to select this stop all and pick it. So let's see what happens now. One jump and we get 1 point. Second jump and we get second point. And we will get the third jump. So nothing is happening actually because it's not doing it forever. So for that, we are going to use this forever loop here and put this code and put it here and keep it here like that. So let's say we do that again. So now we have stopped the game. And if I will do it again, I would have to make sure that I get a clean jump. And if I don't get a clean jump, I would not be able to score a point. I scored a point. I scored another point. And I scored another point. And now I might not be able to score another point. And I lose the game here. So when I did not get the clean jump, or if I touch something, my clean jump is not going to be completed and I'm not going to score a point. So that is how we have made this game. Fine. So now our game is working fine. What else we can do is get more than one, you can say, objects to start from. So I will duplicate this object, put it here, and I will ask it to start at this point.
Do the same code as the first hedgehog.
Sorry.
Do the same code on the second hedgehog.
We can have two hedgehogs coming on the same screen. We can add, we can separate them with a particular distance and they can keep repeating themselves. So that is how we can add more hedgehogs here. Let's say I have moved the first hedgehog to a bigger distance, and now I would want it to start from here. 45 and minus 150. I would want it to start from here, maybe a little more ahead. 670. So when we press the flag button, now you can see that they are both coming.
But both of them are coming at the same time, since the back one since you haven't added the same number speed of the second
They have,
hedgehog.
yes, so what the problem is that they are going to start at the same time and they will start coming on the same time. So we need to ask the other character to wait for some time and then start. So for the second hedgehog, I'm going to add this wait 1 second here and see what happens. Now they are moving separately. Okay, now they have started moving separately. And similarly for the first hedgehog, I can make sure that it reaches there in 2 seconds, so that they have a different kind of moving policy, so that they move a little differently. So that is something that we can do here. Now they are both moving at different times, and you can press jumps between them. So, and if you get a clean jump, you're going to get a score for that. So this is how that is how it is going to start working out. There is one thing actually that you need to do. First is that you need to hide your object, hide your second hedgehog, or hide your first hedgehog, hide your second hedgehog basically when you start the game. So let's say that we are going to go to looks and there is this show hide button that we can choose. We are going to hide our object when the flag is clicked, and we can again show it after some time. So I will add the show button here after wait, and let's see what happens now. Now it looks more,
That
you
was
can
too
say,
fast.
was that too fast? So we can make it slower
Yeah.
by changing the glide speed. We can try.
Oh no, it showed up so quickly.
It showed up so quickly. You're saying that it showed up so quickly. So
Yeah.
what we can do for
I-
that is, yes, what we can do for that is, see, in the hedgehog 2, I have added this wait button before it shows up. So I can change this time. I can change it even to 1 second also. So when I change it to 1 second, you would be able to see that it shows up after very quite a long time. So that is how you can create this game on your own. You can start it with one object, or you can start it with 2 objects, and now it keeps on coming at the regular pace.
That's coming at the same time now.
Yes, this kind of some glitch would remain there. We can change the wait timing so that it does not look like that, but sometimes it would be like that. So most of the times it would be clear, and at least at one instance out of 8 or 9, there might be an instance that happens this way. So we can always do that. We can always fix that by changing our weight here. So it starts at a little different pace, and similarly you would have different objects coming at a different time. And obviously this speed needs to be monitored so that this kind of the objects we would not be able to cater. So let's say that we change it back to 0.8. So
But the problem is the hedgehog in the front always shows up at the same time with the other one coming.
not with the other one. Other one starts a little late. Other one basically starts a little late. Or what we can do is use this hedgehog to start at the same space as the other one. And let's see what happens after that. So now you have 2 hedgehogs that are coming separately. Now you can change their speeds to be at the same time. And now you will see that there is a 1 second difference between both the hedgehogs. And I can change this difference from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. And now they are going to come like more accurately, you would be able to see. Now it looks better. Isn't it right, Ayat?
Yeah. But we
So
still have time. We have only 2 minutes though.
2 minutes in what?
2 minutes of time.
We have 7 minutes of the time in our lesson. So this is like the simplest gaming code for this, all these games that we, this had the simplest or the smallest code that we could choose, right? Now we just need to tell that we need to start again. So let's say that if we hit something, we need to stop all, and after that we need to start again. So for starting again, what we need to do is just use this backdrop.
Night.
Sorry.
We just if it hits the hedgehog, it should glide back. The hedgehog.
The hedgehog is going to start every time. The hedgehog is going to start moving every time you have that code placed. So let's say that I add a new backdrop here with the same one, and I add a text, and the text says press flag to start again. Make it to be white and bring it in. So we are going to tell something that how do we get to this one that says backdrop 2 actually. So we are going to figure out how to start the backdrop 2. The backdrop 2 is going to be selected after this one. So I will go to switch backdrop to backdrop 2 and add it here. And every time we start the game, I will want to switch background to false. So let's see what happens. It says press flag to start, but I haven't touched the backdrop as of yet. So let's say that I put it here. Start again. Now it's working fine. Now when I will touch the hedgehog, it would say that press flag to start again. So I start again when I press the flag button. Press flag to start again.
The tail keeps hitting the hedgehog.
We can remove the tail if you want.
But
Or you
how
can-
do we remove?
Or you
A
can,
body.
or you can just make the hedgehog a little smaller. How to remove the tail from the body? That's a very good question. That's very simple actually. Go to this dinosaur, go to the costumes, and just remove its tail like that. Select this cursor tool first and click on the tail and delete it. Now you have the tail removed. And if I go to this one, I can actually delete this point also, or this point also, to make it look a little different. Fine. Or instead of doing that, let's say that we pick it up and put it here like that. Go to this one and it will allow you to rotate the tail. You can rotate the tail and now it looks like this. I guess this would be better instead of removing the. Now you can see that one hedgehog is small and one hedgehog is a little bigger. So we can try to fix that as well. If we go to this button and change the hedgehog size back to 40 again. Now they are both the same size. Now this would work fine, I guess. Yes, press flag to start again when we don't hit. So, who's that? Okay, so it's message from Abdas Wang. So no worries. I will check your catching game the other day. So what you need to do is you need to try and create this game. This game was quite. It's not that difficult. It's very easy to make. So is there anything that you guys want to ask? You can ask right now. I will just
No.
stop the recording here.